Hi, welcome back to my channel. For those who are first time here, I'm Tessa, 45-year-old transgender woman who only came out to herself 2 years ago. Before I get into it, just need to say all views expressed on this channel are my views, my truth, and how I remember things. If those from my past don't agree or like it, sorry, but that's how I saw things at the time. And for anyone else, welcome. Today I'm going to talk about probably my most favouriteest little person who gave me some of my fondest memories, some of my biggest challenges, and helped me grow as a person. I'm going to talk about my son Zach and his story. So without further ado, I guess I'll just get into it. So Zachy's pregnancy was a bit difficult. It was a very emotional time for me. I was going to have a son. We had a lot of issues with his pregnancy. Zachy, what we believe was a twin, as the ex had a bleeding episode and lost a big clot, which really worried us, which also gave her a lot of pain and a lot of issues with the pregnancy. Gave her a lot of Braxton Hicks contractions all the way through. Got my notes, that's why I keep looking down, sorry. So Zachy was 6 weeks prem. When the ex first went into contractions, we went to the hospital and they gave her some medication to try and stop the pregnancy or stop the labour. She decided that she wanted to leave the hospital, so after, I think it was overnight, she decided to go home. Home was a bit far away, so we went to her brother's just so she could have a smoke. From there, I dropped her at her brother's. I went home. Literally, as I walked in the door to grab a bag of clothes and everything for her, I get a phone call from her brother, and he goes, "My water's broken." I went, "Yeah, nice joke." No, Renee's water's broken, and we were told that once her water's broke, it was going to be a quick pregnancy. So I drove like a mad person, picked her up, raced to the hospital. Just got to the suite, and she thought she needed to go to the toilet, so she's sitting on the toilet thinking she needed to do a poo. Turned out that was Zach coming. Got her on the table. The pregnancy was, the birth was very quick after that. Not as many issues as we had with Tash, but you know, it was still so beautiful to see my little boy coming into the world. While he was getting checked out by the doctor asked him if he liked his name, and Zach had a big laugh and a smile. 20 minutes old, so he liked his name, which made me happy. I wanted to be a doting dad. I wanted to help change nappies. I wanted to be really involved. But the ex, when we first got him home, because he had to spend a bit of time in until he got back to his birth weight, no major issues, just that they wanted to make sure that he was big enough, because he was only 2.9 kilos. He was quite small, 4 pound 4.5. Tiny little cutie. Grew into a big man. It's funny how that works. So yeah, I wanted to be a doting dad. Wasn't allowed to. She said, "That's mother's work. You just be the dad." So from that day on, I sort of pulled back a little bit from trying to help on those sort of things. Really regret allowing that to happen. I would have loved to have been a little bit more involved and a little bit more hands-on at that age, so I could have even been closer with my little boy, my little man. So he was all healthy until around his first birthday. He got a condition called RSV, become what they called a fat happy wheezer, because he put on a bit of weight. That was a bit of a scary time for us, first parents. We were only young. I was 21, still very young and a child ourselves, and we panicked a bit. he come good. He was always happy, always laughing, always smiling. He was just such a great baby. He slept well. He did everything right. He was really, really cool kid as a bub. And then as he got older, fell in love with playing video games at a young age. Tried to restrict it as much as possible. But his other love, which became his greatest passion in life, was watching WWE wrestling. He became a bit of a rough nut. Would always wrestle his cousins and friends on the trampoline, and he'd always try and wrestle me, and I'd wrestle him, and it was some of my greatest memories of that age are from us rucking around and getting a bit rough, but toughened him up. When he got to primary school, he started making friends, started playing a lot of sports. We got him into rugby league, and made a few friends through that. I become trainer of the club, with the club of the team, and that's when I ended up spending my time in hospital, getting the tap on the shoulder from the big fella upstairs. Would have loved to have spent more time with him at that age, but it was also the age where the ex started dancing and I started driving her. So we would spend a lot of the time, 4 days a week, away from home and leave him with his granddad. Now, he went from being a beautiful little kid with wonderful manners, very polite, to learning how to swear at a young age, becoming very cheeky, pushing back a little bit when it come to discipline, a bit like his dad. Again, just looking at my notes, sorry. One of my fondest memories of my little man was me out on the field when I became a rugby league coach, and I had to be out on the field with the minis, and Zachy scored his first try. Now, he'll tell you I squeezed him and almost killed him. I probably did, but once he scored, I picked him up and gave him the biggest hug, because I never got to score a try in a proper game, and he did, and it was at an early age. He scored quite a few after that, but especially when he learned he could make $1 a try, he got good. But that is one of my fondest memories, seeing the joy in his face, and I'm sure him seeing the joy in my face is also a fond memory of him, for him. I already spoke about that. So, me getting sick and going back when I decided to come out and come off the pension and not be home all the time, other than when we weren't dancing, really hurt our relationship, because I become so focused in work, I didn't have the time to play with him anymore. I didn't give him the love. I was so stressed with work and always pursuing big hours, big days, trying to get the money to give him the best life he could have. We also had Tasha at that point, and she was a big drain on our time and energy, and poor little Zachy missed out on quite a lot. But he also got a lot. He just didn't get the one-on-one time that I think he really needed and wanted, craved for, and I really regret that. I really do. It's one of my biggest regrets, is not sitting there watching my little baby boy sleep at night, sitting there on the couch with him cuddled up to me like I used to when he was younger, playing with him in the park, teaching him to ride motorbikes and push bikes and all the stuff. Like, I had some great times and great memories. So then I started to feel more like a big brother to him than a father, due to the relationship I had with my ex. I wasn't allowed to set disciplines. If I did, the punishments, the ex would override it and give in, because he would argue and push, and she just let him have what he wanted. Those are some of the things I'm not proud of. I could have really been a better father if I had put my foot down, or even if I'd left her and been a single dad and had more time to work with him away from her. But he turned out pretty good without either way. He's a good kid. He continued his So then he got into high school. We paid for private school all the way through for him, trying to give him the best education and the best exposure to things in life to give him the best start so he could be the best human he could be. He loved playing the drums in high school. I was quite lucky that his grandmother bought him a set of drums. When we moved into separate houses with the father-in-law, the drums went over to his place. He could practice whenever he wanted when he was over there. I didn't have to hear it. He got pretty good. He's a lot better drummer than I ever could have been. And another skill he's got that I hope one day he pursues again, because I'm pretty sure he's not playing them anymore. Then he started the love of his life, the passion, the thing that drives him, the thing that keeps him alive and happy. So he started wrestling in a local indie league. We found one, let him go watch. He started to become friends with the owner of the company. He started off as a referee out on the ring, then finally got his shot as a Mark's character, as Dolphin. Good little dolphin. And he's pursued his wrestling career. He's travelled all over Australia doing his wrestling. Very proud of him. I love seeing him. I remember the day I was there when he won his first belt and seeing the look in his eye when he got to put that belt over his shoulder out in front of the crowd. That was a special moment. One I'll remember, because it's one passion he's always had, and to see him following his dreams, it's all I ever wanted it for him, is be who you want to be and follow your dreams, boy. Keep doing that if you're watching. So I was working at a pet food place. I was production manager, and I put Zach on. Probably wasn't a wise idea. We do not work well together. Before that, I'd been his scout leader and his rugby league coach. Me telling him that he's not quite doing something right became him feeling like I was picking on him. So he didn't quite follow the direction. He didn't quite pick up what he was being told. He was still young. He was 18, 19. New to the working world. And we were all young. We weren't very good workers, were we? He became one. So then he met an angel over his life and an angel over my daughter's life, Carmen. They're still together. They're still growing as people, and they've become an absolutely awesome couple. They've had their ups and their downs, and they've had their tough times, but they continue to work through them. And I'm proud of both of them, more than they'll ever know. Watching them grow as humans, it was beautiful. Especially when Carmen had some dark times and she pulled herself out. Then Zachy fell into a hole. He had a bit of an issue happen at work. He ended up spending 2 years not being able to work because of PTSD. That was pretty sad for me because he wouldn't even let me in, he wouldn't let me help him. He didn't want me involved in his healing process, and that made me sad. All I wanted was for him to be happy again and go back to being the beautiful little boy that I remember as a kid, with a big smile on his face. His smile was gone for a while, but through therapy and finding different techniques, he managed to pull himself out of that hole. And I watched him start to grow and grow again and become a beautiful person again and start to enjoy life. He went back to work, probably didn't enjoy his job very much, but he was earning money, he was surviving, he was thriving. And then I decided to come out. And I watched him crash. It sort of devastated his world. The person that had taught him to be a man wasn't. And he realised that he never really knew the real me. That's another one of my regrets. And it's one of my saddest moments I have now is when I sit back and think I'd just love to see my boy and give him a hug, tell him I love him, and let him get to know the real me. Then when I left the ex, since then, I saw him at Christmas time. Well, when I first came out, he told me he wouldn't see me in public. He then came out and had dinner with us one night with me as me. And the ex was riding him pretty hard until afterward I went, you do realise why he was a bit quiet and a little bit reserved. That was the first time he'd been out in public with me. It was a big step, and I appreciated it, even if I didn't say anything on that day. Then I think my birthday last year, he came and celebrated with me. It's the last birthday of me in boy mode. And it was another great night, another fond memory I have, because I got to celebrate the last male birthday with my son. Since then, I haven't seen him since Christmas last year, Christmas 23. We had I'd already split up with the ex. It was a chance meeting that he asked me to come and be at the Christmas lunch with them. I'd already made plans, so I could only give them an hour and a bit. The ex obviously wasn't informed of that, and she got really snarky and it turned into a fight. But before I left, I at least got to give my son a hug, and I really remember that. I'd love to give him many more. I know at the moment he's still coming to terms with everything. We all are. We're all learning and growing and healing. Hoping that very shortly or one day, no rush, whenever he's ready, he'll want to reconnect with me. That would be a great day for me. A really great day. Would mean more than anything in the world. Because my little Zachy, he started off as a kid that I could put his head there. I mean, his head in my hand and his little feet fitted there. He's now 6 foot something man. And from what I've seen, he's continued to grow and continue with his life from stories I've been told by other people. And that makes me happy. That's all I ever want for him, is to grow as a human, live the best life he can live, and follow his dreams. If you have a goal, chase it, because you've only got one life. And if you sit back and you let other people tell you who you are and what you need to be, that's not you living your life, that's you living their expectations on your life. And Zach, as a dad, just know I'm proud of you, prouder than you'll ever imagine. You're a good kid. I love you so much. The day you're ready, you've got my number, I'll be there. Always be there for you, son, whenever you need me. Alright, I'm going to leave it there. I know that people who don't know the family would not understand the depth and the issues we've had in our complex family life. But to know that my son's out there thriving still, while I'm off thriving, it's fucking awesome. So alright, until the next one, see you later, crew.